Does this thing actually work? Just watch.
So who here happens to be a fan of these ninjutsu practicing turtles? We know we're big fans, and we firmly believe that everyone has a reason to thank the year 1984 and the dynamic duo Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird for introducing us to the legendary superhero foursome, otherwise known as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Would you believe us if we told you that the whole thing actually started off as a sketch of a turtle with a mask, only to end up expanding into this huge franchise, comprising 5 animated series, 8 theatrical feature films, several comic book series, and manga in addition to video games and merchandise? Well, there's no denying that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, popularly known as the TMNT, has an insane fan base, and this brings us to the main content of today's video. We'll be looking at 10 dark theories revolving around the TMNT cartoon that we're pretty sure will ruin your childhood. Are you ready? You better be. But before we get into our explanation, we do have one very small request. If you enjoy our content, then please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Now let's begin. Splinter is actually a cult leader manipulating his sons. This is categorically one of the most disturbing, dark theories, and not just because it's the first one on our list, but because Master Splinter has always displayed what is usually known as classic cult leader behavior. At least for the Turtles, Splinter happens to be their solitary source of education, philosophy, and training. Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Raphael know only what Splinter teaches them. In fact, truth be told, the 4 turtles were adopted by Splinter, isolated in the very sewers away from society, and instilled with unquestioning obedience into believing that he's the wisest being on Earth. This naturally has the turtles utterly dependent on their master. Splinter has also admitted in the original film that he had trained the turtles specifically to serve his own lifelong vendetta against Shredder, which means that he ensured that they remained his loyal soldiers, ready to carry out his mission by turning them into living weapons for revenge, rather than teaching them self-defense. Splinter intended to eat the turtles. This dark theory posits that Master Splinter's initial intent for adopting the turtles was purely based on his survival instinct as a starving sewer rat, and certainly not paternal affection. As per the 2003 cartoon's origin story, a dark fan theory proposes that when Splinter first found the helpless baby turtles in the sewer, he saw them as a staggering food supply. Well, as a former domesticated rat abandoned in the sewers after his master's death, Splinter's primary drive was survival. The theory suggests that while Splinter claimed to feel pity for the turtles, his original intent may have been far more sinister, storing the soft-shelled, protein-rich animals as a future meal, and feeding on them for months. In true essence, the adoptive father story is a cover-up for the terrible, instinctual hunger he had to overcome, forever reminding him of the thin line between the wise sensei and the savage sewer animal. Raphael's rage stems from self-hatred and species dysphoria. A popular theory states that Raphael is not only hot-tempered, but also extremely embarrassed to be a mutant turtle. His greatest concerns about himself are confirmed when he goes out in disguise and is dubbed a freak, which leads to violent outbursts. If we analyze this theory further, it suggests that Raphael harbors deep self-loathing, since he's constantly reminded of his mutation, despite his desire to be human and lead a regular life. This has also been seen by some fans as a transgender allegory, with Raphael identifying as human but feeling imprisoned in a turtle body. April O'Neil is half alien. In the 2012 Nickelodeon-produced animated series, it's disclosed that April O'Neil is half human, half Krang, or in simpler words, a human-alien hybrid. Apparently, the Krang carried out experiments on April's mother, which led to April being born with alien DNA and becoming a recipient of psychic abilities. And dare we disregard her immunity to mutagen? For generations, the Krang have manipulated events with the express purpose of using April as the key to terraform Earth. Because of this, April isn't merely a supporting character. Rather, she's the main character in an interplanetary conspiracy in which she serves as a biological weapon. The Red Sky Seasons equals death of the universe. Now, when we say the Red Sky Seasons, we're usually referring to the final seasons of the original 1987 cartoon, especially seasons 8, 9, and 10. Those of you who can recall the final seasons will remember the cartoon featuring an ominously reddish-orangish sky, which, of course, if you ask us, was a major tonal shift. There are fans who have theorized that the red sky represents the death of that TMNT universe, based on the DC Comics Crisis on Infinite Earths, where red skies mean the end of the world. This theory says that these episodes show the slow end of the world and destruction of the 1987 dimension. Leonardo suffers from PTSD, as per Lloyd Goldfine's 2003 TMNT animated series, and the celebrated trio of Ciro Neely, Joshua Sternin, and J.R. Ventimiglia's 2012 TMNT show. It was pretty evident that Leonardo experienced textbook post-traumatic stress disorder after those traumatic battles with Shredder. Not only did he become irritable and paranoid, but he also withdrew himself while constantly battling feelings of remorse over failing his family. In fact, in the 2012 animated series, Leo almost got stabbed by Karai, which led to a part of his shell shell breaking. This had him spending a considerable amount of time, multiple episodes to be more precise, dealing with the psychological aftermath, depression, flashbacks, and survivor's guilt. Truth be told, such a realistic portrayal of trauma is pretty rare when it comes to children's cartoons, but TMNT didn't hold itself back. Splinter's weapon assignments are about teaching weakness. Just like their color-coordinated masks, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles' weaponry are an integral part of who they are, and according to a widely accepted theory, Splinter purposefully assigned each turtle a weapon that was the exact opposite of their nature, in order to make them conquer their worst weaknesses. Allow us to elucidate. The temperamental Raphael is given Twin Sai by Splinter to teach him patience and discipline. Michelangelo has nunchucks as his weapon that teaches him to be more aware of things, thereby demanding precision and focus. Donatello has a wooden bow staff, pretty much the simplest Ninja Turtle weapon, so that he can learn to solve problems with what is available and not be dependent on science and technology. As for Leonardo, he's given katanas, which is literally the most lethal weapon, to reflect on choices he must make in order to protect lives. The Turtles are social outcasts and represent marginalized identity. According to academic analysis, TMNT is a metaphor for marginalized identity and double consciousness, which is the mental turmoil that comes from living in two different worlds. The Turtles are neither human nor animal, and they don't live on the ground or on the surface. They show what it's like to be an immigrant, to be racially unclear, and to be freaks that society doesn't accept, but that still fights to protect society. This theory further suggests that their biggest threat is not Shredder, but the world's inability to accept them for who they are. Breakdown of Baxter Stockman's body horror and psychological torture in disturbing detail. The 2003 series gave Baxter Stockman one of the worst character arcs in any TMNT cartoon. As punishment for failing, Shredder mercilessly dismembers and mutilates Baxter, removing his organs and limbs until he's reduced to little more than a brain in a jar, with an electrical torture device implanted in his skull. After constructing a new body for himself, Baxter experiences hallucinations of his deceased mother, which causes his sanity to collapse. This gruesome body trauma and psychological disintegration are shown in terrifying detail in the series. Rise of the TMNT. The Apocalypse timeline is both real and permanent. In The Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, Leonardo and Michelangelo send Casey Jones back in time from a Krang-dominated apocalypse where everyone dies. However, as per the time travel rules in the film, the theory is that they didn't erase that future, they simply created a new timeline branch. This indicates that Casey's original timeline is still in place. Leonardo still gave his life, Raphael and Donatello are still dead, and the Krang continue to govern a destroyed Earth indefinitely. While Casey did manage to save a world, he didn't rescue his own world. His universe as a whole is still doomed forever. Marvelous verdict. Well, that's all for today, and with this, we finally come to the end of our video. We'd love to know your thoughts in the comments section down below, and we sincerely hope that you've got your fill of TMNT content for today. Now, if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Please do leave a thumbs up and stay tuned with us, as we promise to come back with more exciting content. Till then, goodbye, and thanks for watching. Have a good one. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.